Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Enjoy Biochemistry. I am Dr. Trupti and in the video lecture series on vitamins, today let's learn about vitamin B3, that is niacin. We will also see a case study related to vitamin B3 deficiency, that is pellagra. At the end of this session, students shall be able to describe vitamin B3, that is niacin, with respect to its chemistry, dietary sources, daily requirement, metabolism, biochemical functions, deficiency symptoms, toxicity and its estimation. Vitamin B3, that is niacin, it is a water soluble vitamin and it is a pyridine derivative. It is derived from this pyridine. Niacin has vitamins like nicotinic acid and nicotinamide, which is also called as niacinamide. Means niacin is also called as nicotinic acid and the amide form is called as nicotinamide or niacinamide. This is the structure of niacin, which is a substituted pyridine derivative, and this is the structure of niacinamide having the amide group linked to it. So this is the niacinamide. Vitamin B3 is also called as pellagra preventive factor of Goldberger because its deficiency leads to a condition called as pellagra. This niacin is not strictly a vitamin because it not only we get it from the dietary sources but also in the body it is synthesized from the amino acid tryptophan. 60 mg of tryptophan is required to form 1 mg of niacin, and that's why it is said that it is not strictly a vitamin because it can also be derived from the amino acid, that is tryptophan. Nicotinic acid should not be confused with nicotine. Nicotine and nicotinic acid or niacin, they are different because nicotine is a potent poison which is derived from tobacco, which is present in tobacco. So both nicotinic acid and nicotine, they are different. The coenzyme forms of niacin are nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, that is NAD positive, and nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, that is NADP positive. In the oxidized form, the nitrogen of nicotinamide residue, it is in the quaternary state and it forms an extra fourth bond and thus it acquires a positive charge, and that's why in the oxidized form it is written as NAD plus or NAD positive or NADP plus. Now in the process of reduction, the NAD plus or NADP plus, it accepts one hydrogen atom fully and the other hydrogen is ionized and only the electron is accepted, so that the positive sign in the molecule is now nullified. Thus NAD plus accepts hydrogen and electron and also called as hydride ion to form NADH, and the hydrogen ion, it is released in the surrounding medium, and that's why from NAD, when NAD plus is reduced, there is formation of NADH plus H plus, and during the oxidation the reaction is reversed. So there are two coenzyme forms, NAD plus and NADP plus. What are the dietary sources of niacin? So niacin can be derived from various sources and the richest natural sources are dried yeast, liver, peanuts, whole cereals, legumes, meat and fish. About half of the requirement is made by the conversion of tryptophan to niacin. So half of the niacin we get it from the amino acid tryptophan. And the normal requirement is 15 to 20 mg per day, but in lactation the additional 5 mg is required. There are certain foods which can cause niacin deficiency. Why does a person on maize or corn and sorghum, that is jowar based diet, suffer from pellagra like symptoms like diarrhea, dermatitis and dementia? The answer is the niacin in the maize, it is in the bound form, that is niacin. So as it is in the bound form, it is not available for its action, and also the maize protein is a gene and that gene lacks tryptophan which is required for niacin synthesis, and that's why due to reduced tryptophan and the niacin is in the bound form, that is in the form of niacin, that's why there is niacin deficiency and it can be manifested as various clinical features of pellagra, that is diarrhea, dermatitis and dementia. Now why in sorghum or jawar based diet can lead to niacin deficiency? because sorghum has high leucine content and low levels of tryptophan. And because of the high leucine content, the leucine inhibits this tryptophan metabolism. It inhibits the enzyme. Which enzyme? Quinolinate phosphoribosyl transferase, QPRT, which is required for the formation of niacin from tryptophan. So it inhibits the formation of niacin from tryptophan, and that's why it leads to niacin deficiency, and it will manifest as a various clinical features of pellagra. Now let's see how formation of coenzyme forms like NAD, NADP occur from niacin and tryptophan. So from the diet we get nicotinamide, niacin as well as tryptophan. This nicotinamide can be converted to this niacin by the action of enzyme deamidase. Further, this niacin is converted to nicotinate mononucleotide by the action of enzyme nicotinate phosphoribosyl transferase, and here PRPP is required, which is phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate. So first from the niacin there is formation of nicotinate mononucleotide. Then in the next step ATP is required, and there is formation of desamido NAD by the action of enzyme NMN adenyl transferase. From that NAD plus is formed by NAD plus synthase. In this reaction also ATP is required, and glutamine is also required for the synthesis of NAD plus. And from the NAD plus by action of enzyme NAD plus kinase there is formation of NADP. We can get niacin from tryptophan also. So through series of reaction the tryptophan is converted to quinolinate, and the important enzyme is kynureninase, which is a PLP dependent enzyme. So vitamin B6 is required for formation of this quinolinate from this tryptophan. Now this quinolinate, it is diverted to niacin synthesis by the action of enzyme QPRT, that is quinolinate phosphoribosyl transferase. So we can get niacin or these coenzymes of niacin from the tryptophan. Further, the coenzymes NAD and NADP, they are metabolized to form nicotinamide, and it is excreted in the form of N-methyl nicotinamide in the urine. So this is how formation of NAD plus NADP occurs from niacin and tryptophan. Coming to the biochemical functions of niacin, so it plays a very important role in various biochemical reactions in the metabolism, like carbohydrate metabolism, protein metabolism, lipid metabolism, etc. Through its coenzyme forms NAD, NADP and NADPH. So there are various NAD plus dependent reactions in the body which require niacin. There are some NADP dependent reaction and some are NADPH dependent reactions. So we will see the reactions one by one. Let's first see the NAD plus dependent reactions in the carbohydrate metabolism. So which reaction in the carbohydrate metabolism are NAD plus dependent? The first is conversion of lactate to pyruvate by the action of enzyme lactate dehydrogenase. So this reaction requires NAD plus, which is reduced to NADH. The second is formation of acetyl-CoA from pyruvate by pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, and this enzyme, this require various coenzymes, and one of those coenzyme is NAD plus, where NAD plus is required. So these are the two important reactions in the carbohydrate metabolism where NAD plus is required. Which are NAD plus dependent reaction in the lipid metabolism? Let's see. From beta hydroxyacyl CoA, there is formation of beta ketoacyl CoA. So by the action of enzyme beta hydroxyacyl CoA dehydrogenase. So this is the step of beta oxidation of fatty acid, and this requires NAD plus. The second reaction is beta hydroxyacyl butyrate to form acetoacetate by the action of enzyme beta hydroxyacyl butyrate dehydrogenase. So both the reaction in lipid metabolism, they are the NAD plus dependent reactions. In protein metabolism, which reactions require NAD plus? Let's see. So the formation of acyl-CoA thioesters from alpha keto acids of branch chain amino acid requires NAD plus, and this reaction is catalyzed by branch chain alpha keto acid dehydrogenase. So this is NAD dependent enzyme. Now formation of alpha ketoglutarate from glutamate by action of enzyme glutamate dehydrogenase also requires NAD+. Now let's see NADP plus dependent reactions, and this is very important in HMP pathway, that is hexose monophosphate pathway. The first reaction is from glucose 6-phosphate there is formation of 6-phosphogluconolactone by the action of enzyme glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. In this reaction NADP is reduced to NADPH, and this is very important because HMP pathway is responsible for formation of this NADPH. Then in the next reaction, this 6-phosphogluconolactone, it is converted to ribulose 5-phosphate by the action of enzyme glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, that is G6PD enzyme, and in this reaction also there is formation of NADPH where this NADP plus is reduced to NADPH. So these are two reactions in the HMP pathway which are NADP dependent reactions. What are the NADPH dependent reactions? So NADPH is formed in the HMP pathway and it is utilized in the various reductive pathways in different metabolisms. For example, ketoacyl ACP dehydrogenase requires this NADPH. So beta ketoacyl ACP to beta hydroxyacyl ACP formation of fatty acid synthesis requires NADPH. Then alpha beta unsaturated acyl ACP to acyl ACP formation also requires NADPH. These are the steps of fatty acid synthesis. Then in the cholesterol synthesis, the mevalonate formation from HMG-CoA requires NADPH and the reaction is catalyzed by HMG-CoA reductase. So this is the important step in cholesterol synthesis which is NADPH dependent. Now methemoglobin to hemoglobin formation also requires NADPH. The enzyme folate reductase, which is responsible for formation of dihydrofolate from folate and tetrahydrofolate from dihydrofolate, requires NADPH. In the phenylalanine metabolism, the formation of tyrosine from phenylalanine by the action of enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase, and this reaction also requires NADPH. In addition to that, glutathione reductase enzyme, which is responsible for formation of reduced glutathione from the oxidized glutathione, requires NADPH, and this is very important for the scavenging free radicals. So it acts as an antioxidant. What are the various causes of niacin deficiency? There are various causes. First is malnutrition. So decreased intake of niacin will lead to niacin deficiency. Second is vitamin B6 deficiency. Vitamin B6, the coenzyme form is pyridoxal phosphate, and this pyridoxal phosphate is required for action of enzyme kynureninase, and this kynureninase is important for formation of niacin from tryptophan. So if there is vitamin B6 deficiency, there will be no formation of niacin from tryptophan, and that's why vitamin B6 deficiency will also manifest as niacin deficiency, and it will present like features of pellagra. Then the person or patient, a tubercular patient on isoniazid treatment. Isoniazid is an anti-tubercular drug. So this isoniazid, it inhibits the enzyme pyridoxal kinase, which is required for formation of pyridoxal phosphate, and as we know that this pyridoxal phosphate is required for this kynureninase, which is important for formation of niacin from tryptophan. So if there is less PLP, there will be less niacin formation, and that's why the person on isoniazid treatment will develop niacin deficiency. Now Hartnupp's disease. The Hartnup disease is autosomal recessive condition. There is defective membrane transport mechanism for tryptophan's intestinal malabsorption, and there is decreased renal reabsorption, and that's why there is less tryptophan. Less tryptophan means less niacin, so that's why it will be manifested as niacin deficiency and pellagra like symptoms. Then comes carcinoid syndrome. It is the serotonin secreting tumor. So there more tryptophan is diverted for serotonin formation, and that's why there is less tryptophan available for niacin formation and it will manifest as niacin deficiency. Now, the corn or maize based diet will lead to niacin deficiency because we know that in the maize niacin is in the bound form, that is niacin, as well as the protein of maize, that is zein, it also lacks tryptophan, and that's why less tryptophan will lead to less niacin formation and ultimately niacin deficiency. Excess intake of sorghum or jawar, because it has high leucine content, and high leucine will interfere with the tryptophan metabolism, that is formation of niacin from the tryptophan. So these are the various causes of niacin deficiency: malnutrition, vitamin B6 deficiency, isoniazid drug, that is the anti-tuberculosis drug, heart nerve disease, carcinoid syndrome, the people consuming corn based diet, and excess intake of sorghum or jawar. Now coming to the deficiency manifestations of niacin, these are called pellagra. So pellagra is a condition caused due to niacin deficiency. If there is slight deficiency, it will be manifested as irritability, poor concentration, anxiety, fatigue, restlessness, depression, and if there is severe deficiency, it will show the features of pellagra. Pellagra means rough skin. It will also affect central nervous system, skin and gastrointestinal tract. So pellagra is a condition due to severe deficiency of niacin. Now what are the various clinical features of pellagra? There are 4 Ds. The first is dermatitis. The skin becomes cracked, pigmented, and it is a scaly dermatitis. Castle's necklace will be seen here, that is pigmentation is seen on the sun exposed area around the neck. Then dementia. So dementia, there will be confusion, disorientation, ataxia and neuritis. Diarrhea because of intestinal inflammation and vomiting, and if the condition is not treated early, death can occur. So these are the 4 Ds of pellagra which occurs due to niacin deficiency. So this is the picture of Castle's necklace and photosensitive dermatitis seen in the pellagra. So these photosensitive rashes, they are seen on the exposed body surface like upper extremity, lower extremity, specifically face, neck. There is increased pigmentation is seen around the neck, and if it is increased pigmentation is seen around the neck, it is called as Castle's necklace. And the pigmentation resembles sunburn, and this is probably related to the role of NAD plus in the DNA repair system. So in the presence of ultraviolet light, what happens? The DNA damages are not repaired. So they cause dermatitis in the UV exposed area of skin. So it may be related with the DNA repair mechanism. So these are the important characteristic features of pellagra: dermatitis, which is manifested as Castle's necklace, and photosensitive dermatitis. Laboratory assessment can be done by estimation of N-methylnicotinamide, and the microbiological method can also be used for the laboratory assessment, where the growth of Lactobacillus aeruginosus is measured in a medium containing niacin. Treatment includes oral niacin 15 to 25 mg 3 times a day. What are the therapeutic uses of niacin? So niacin is used to reduce serum cholesterol level. So how it reduces serum cholesterol level? Niacin in the dose of 1.5 gram per day or 100 times that of RDA if it is given, then it inhibits lipolysis in the adipose tissue. And as the lipolysis is inhibited, there is less formation of free fatty acid, because we know that lipolysis means there is breakdown of TAG, that is triacylglycerol, into fatty acid and glycerol. So as it inhibits lipolysis, there will be less level of free fatty acid flux, and that's why less fatty acid, so less beta oxidation. So there will be less generation of acetyl CoA by beta oxidation, because we know that the beta oxidation of fatty acid leads to formation of acetyl CoA. So there will be less generation of acetyl CoA, and it leads to decreased acetyl CoA pool, and acetyl CoA is required for the formation of cholesterol. So decreased acetyl CoA, there will be decreased serum cholesterol, and that's how the niacin reduces serum cholesterol level. It also decreases the triacylglycerol synthesis in the liver, and that's why it is used in the treatment of hyperlipoproteinemia type 2B, which is characterized by increased level of LDL and VLDL. So in this condition, niacin can be given to reduce the cholesterol level. Is niacin toxic? High doses can cause dilatation of blood vessels and flushing with skin irritation due to histamine release. And intake of both nicotinic acid and nicotinamide in excess of 500 mg per day can cause liver damage. Which are the antivitamins of niacin? Pyridine, 3-sulfonic acid and 3-acetylpyridine. These are the antivitamins of niacin. So in today's video, we have learned about vitamin B3, that is niacin, its chemistry, various dietary sources, then RDA, how the coenzyme forms are synthesized in the body, what are the various biochemical functions, various reactions which are NAD dependent reaction, NADP dependent reaction, NADPH dependent reaction, and what is the role in various metabolisms like carbohydrate, lipid and protein metabolism. So we have seen that. We have also seen the deficiency causes, the deficiency manifestations, the laboratory assessment, treatment, etc. Now we will see one case study related to it. A 35-year-old male came with the history of increased pigmentation around the neck, that is Castle's necklace, bright reddish patches on the feet and ankle, face, which increased on the exposure to sunlight. He complained of recurrent diarrhea. So diarrhea is there, dermatitis is there. On examination, he was disoriented. So other disorientation feature is also there. And his staple diet was jowar and maize for several years. So all these features or means all these points, they are based on these points, we can say that this is the case of niacin deficiency, that is pellagra. These are the various questions which can be asked on this case study. So I hope this video on vitamin B3, that is niacin, will be useful to you. And if you like the content on this channel, please subscribe to this channel, like and share the videos and help this channel to grow. Thank you for watching and happy learning.